Okay, and in Gilda, there's also a pretty big amount. Sorry, it's hot in here, so every time I'm in between videos, I unbutton this button. So you've seen me probably button this 5 times now. It's too hot. I have to put all the lights on so I can be well lit, but then it's too hot to wear a long sleeve shirt. And again, I filmed this a long time ago, back in August, so you're probably watching this in a totally different month. So there's a link too between the business world and the idea of controlling a woman being like controlling products with money. There are several references to this, not only in the fact that Balance sort of says, you know, Johnny, you're just like my weapon here. Um, and this idea of like buying a wife and you can do it with your money and the power of money. But like Gilda even makes a joke about she's dancing with this guy and she makes a joke about, oh, union rules, you're not supposed to be that close. But then when she sees that Johnny's looking, she grabs the guy closer. And so there's these references to kind of the business world, that Johnny takes care of Gilda because his job is to take care of things things that belong to the boss. And this idea of treating people like things, treating people as objects, and being able to fully control people the way you fully control objects. And of course, they're not the same thing, so you can't really do that. Um, this is partly what the recurring joke about, is Johnny a gentleman or a peasant? Uncle Pio keeps calling Johnny. He says he's really a peasant, but and then at the end he's like, I knew he was a gentleman the whole time. And partly this becomes, is Johnny going to take care of Balance business interests, like a peasant, meaning because the peasant's job is to be a servant to a great lord like Balin, or is he going to protect the woman's virtue like a gentleman? And so this question is thrown up to, and Pio is like, you're a peasant, you're a peasant, you're a peasant, and then at the end of the movie, he's like, he was a gentleman the whole time, I knew it. It's a great gag. It's funny. But he's essentially, what Uncle Pio is doing is sort of everybody's analyzing Johnny, both Uncle Pio and Gilda are trying to figure out what's going on with Johnny, because Johnny's a strange dude. She says, nobody understands you, Johnny, not even yourself, because he's hard to understand. Because again, ambivalence. He's hard to understand because does he love Gilda? Yes. Does he hate Gilda? Yes. Is he repulsed by her having sex with other men? Yes. Is he turned on by her having sex with other men? Yes. So like he's a very kind of complicated guy. And Gilda's motivations are very complicated also. In the backstory, it seems pretty clear that Gilda cheated on Johnny, although we'll talk about this at the end when we get to the end. But Gilda cheated on Johnny. It's also possible, looking at Johnny, when you see the conflict in the movie, I think there's a hint there that it's possible that Johnny was too money and business obsessed, gambling even, but he was too obsessed with money when he was with Gilda the first time in the backstory of the movie, before the movie starts, when him and Gilda's old relationship. Seems like he may have been too obsessed with money, and she cheated on him to get his attention, and then he left her, and then she marries Balin on the rebound, and then Johnny turns out to be Balin's right-hand guy, and then this whole scenario plays out. But it fits into the movie's conception of sort of love versus money, ownership versus romance, and these kinds of things. Okay, this is going really good. I just wrote this down for no reason, and it's not that interesting. I just like when he says to Gilda, "Your husband is showing," which is like, you could tell a woman, like, oh, you can see, your zipper's down and you can see something you shouldn't be able to see, but the thing that is showing is her husband, not a body part, which is, I think, a great line. Um, there's also the metaphor of laundry. He says he picks up Gilda like he would pick up the boss's dirty laundry. And again, the idea is simple. It's supposed to just be like, a chore, right? But the metaphor there of dirty laundry, you take out the dirty laundry, and when you come back, it's clean. He's cleaning her dirty nighttime activities with all these men in the hotels that she does. He covers them up and then returns her to Balin, so she is clean again. In his eyes, she remains clean, because if she remains clean, he won't kill her for cheating on him. But of course, Gilda halfway wants him to kill her because she has a complicated relationship to her own sexual desires. Um, and at one point, she says that in her destruction, she says she's willing to take Johnny with her. She says, "I'll destroy myself and take you down with me." So she's perfectly willing to just, like, her relationship with Johnny failed, and part of what she's doing, she's on a self-destructive quest to sort of almost like commit suicide, but she's totally willing for Johnny to get killed in the process as well. These characters are, like, psychologically, like, very fucked up. It's an amazing movie, and it's easy to I don't know how to say this. It's easy to forget. Rita Hayworth, so beautiful. that you just watch the movie like, wow, she's so pretty. Look at that. Her outfits are out of control. And I really wish I could dedicate a lot of time to like, I don't have like a complicated analysis of her outfits. It's just every single outfit she wears in the movie is amazing. I mean, that sparkle coat, the big bell sleeves when she's looking out the window at Carnival, um, the black wedding dress, which makes absolutely no sense in the world of the movie, but from our perspective makes perfect sense because she's both Balin died, so funeral clothes, marrying Johnny, wedding clothes. I mean, she has just the most extraordinary outfits. She's also often framed in interesting ways where she'll wear a dress that has bare shoulders, and then when she has a breakdown, the camera zooms in as much as possible without showing any of the top of the dress, so that it looks like she's naked when she's sobbing to kind of emphasize her vulnerability. There's a lot of really nice work being done with the costumes. These beautiful outfits. She wears this. I don't know if you noticed. She wears the same big chunky bracelets with charms on them that Grace Kelly wore in Rear Window. Obviously very popular with women at the time. It's like it's a beautiful. Her outfits are just absolutely extraordinary. Um, so the scene where she talks about swimming is especially pointed because it's one of these things where she's lying and Johnny knows she's lying, and Balin knows she's lying, and she knows that Balin knows she's lying, and she knows that Johnny knows she's lying. Like, and they're all playing this weird little game together. It's like a play. It's like staged. For who? For us, partly. But it's like they're playing a role or playing a part. Um, and this whole conversation about swimming is a lot because Johnny went swimming with Gilda in the middle of the night while her husband was. She got up in the middle of the night to go swimming with Johnny when her husband was asleep. Like she's just right on the edge of like total self destruction at this and destroying them both at this point in the movie. And they had this super tense conversation. I also love the shot where Balin is like this, but he's just like it's like silhouette. He's just like pure. The light puts him in just pure shadow, and Johnny's lit up, and Balin just looks like a shadow. Sort of evilly standing there in his beautiful house. But he talks to Johnny and says like, because he says, you'll have to teach me how to swim. And Johnny says that he taught Gilda everything she knows about swimming. So this is about sex. It's not about swimming. This is about sex. This is taunting Balin with the idea that Johnny had sex with Gilda in the past and maybe having sex with Gilda in the present, so that everything Balin's been enjoying with Gilda was taught to Gilda by Johnny. I mean, it's a total mind. It's funny how people see a movie like Lost Highway and they're like, this movie is a total mind fuck. But like Gilda is too. It doesn't. You can watch it and feel like it's almost a normal movie until you start thinking about it and realize that it is twisted like a corkscrew. Um, cool. Okay. And like Balin's whole idea that like, oh, there's too much excitement, we can just close the windows, see how the excitement goes away. But it's like you may be able to control the sound of people partying at Carnival, but you can't control a woman's sexual or anybody's sexual desire in the way that he wants to. He's thinking of it in terms of women, but we don't have to. Um, and notice, and so the third act really occurs when Balin fakes his own death. Because then the movie is about Johnny and Gilda alone. That should be good, right? That should be finally healthy now, so that she's not doing all of this terrible stuff to taunt Johnny and to flirt with self-destruction with Balin. We take Balin, because I told the whole movie's about triangulation. It's always about three things. So if you remove Balin from the picture, as his plane explodes or whatever, this should be it now. Johnny and Gilda can live happily ever after. But of course they can't, because these characters are psychologically fucked up. And so it triangulates again. Johnny gets a giant picture of Balin to have in their home, which is bonkers. And he's going to still make sure Gilda stays chaste and doesn't have sex with anybody, including Johnny, by the way. He's going to make sure she doesn't have sex with anyone, just like he did. When Balin was alive, he tried to make it seem like she wasn't having sex with anybody. And now that Balin is dead, he's not going to have sex with her, and nobody is, because he's going to control her in the way Balin wanted to, because he's acting like Balin now. He's in the Balin position. And so he's going to try to control her like Balin would control her like Balin would control the world like Balin would control the world, because he's taken over his business. I'll pick it up in the next video.